Hi, in this video we're going to talk about how to use EFT to get relief from headache pain. And EFT is often very good at doing that. Now my name is Stefan Gonick. I'm an expert EFT practitioner, trainer, and soulmate attraction mentor from EFTalive.com. Now we're going to be talking about two different general situations with headaches. The first one is where most of the time you don't have a headache and then all of a sudden, boom, you get one. So it's very intermittent. The second situation is more of a chronic thing where you either have headache pain a lot of the time or you get headaches regularly. So we're going to start with the simpler case where you just get a headache once in a while. Now there's two ways to address that headache. The first one is where you just tap on your actual experience of the headache. Right? This is sort of a more superficial or surface level of addressing it, but lots of times it's completely sufficient. So the first thing you do is notice where in your head the headache is. Because when we have a headache, it's not usually our whole head. It's usually localized in some particular part. It might be here in the forehead, or it might be on one side, or it might be in the back, wherever it is. Just notice where that headache is in your head. And then start to notice exactly what it feels like. Right? Pain is not just a uniform thing. So the pain might be like a sharp pain. It could be a pulsing pain. It could be a burning pain. It could be a pressury pain. There's lots of different flavors of pain. So what you want to do is get as specific as you possibly can as to what the pain is like. So as an example, let's say I have a pain on the right side of my head and it's a pulsing pain. Or maybe I have this kind of sharp, kind of stabbing pain or something like that. Let's do that one actually. So what you would do is once you kind of figure out where it is and what it feels like exactly, you use that as your problem phrase. So we would go, even though I have this sharp stabbing pain on the right side of my head, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. And you say that 3 times, right? And then once you've said that 3 times, then you start tapping all the points, right? Sharp stabbing pain, the right side of my head. Sharp stabbing pain, the right side of my head. Sharp stabbing pain, the right side of my head. Sharp stabbing pain, the right side of my head. You just keep going through all the points. And usually, after a few rounds, you're going to check to see how painful it is. So at the very beginning, you want to measure the intensity of the pain on a scale of 0 to 10. And let's say I do 3 rounds of tapping. And let's say I started with an 8, a level 8 pain. That level 8 may be down to a 5 or a 4 or something like that. That means it's going well. And then I just repeat the exact same thing, starting after about 3 rounds, start at the karate chop point again. Even though, I have this sharp stabbing pain in the right side of my head, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself 3 times, and then go back to tapping. Now, sometimes as you're tapping on your physical pain in your headache, the experience will shift. Like the location will shift. Instead of being my right side, it might not be my left side, or it might be the back, or it might be the front. So it may, or the top, right? It can change location, and it can change how it feels, what the sensations are, the quality of the pain. Anytime that happens, you want to update your wording to match your new experience. So if the location changed, include that. If the quality of the pain changed, make sure you include that. So anyway, in this case, or in this kind of way of tapping, you're just going to keep tapping, round after round, modifying your wording to match any changes in the experience until the pain, ideally, completely goes away. And often it does, right? Just from doing that. So you can get through it pretty quickly. Lots of times it only takes maybe 10 rounds of tapping and your headache pain is gone, which is pretty cool. Now, sometimes that either only partially works or doesn't work at all. So then we have to kind of go deeper to address what is causing this headache pain, right? It's probably not some random occurrence where all of a sudden your head just kind of goes, ah. There's going to be a reason for it. So you want to look and sort of explore this in a couple ways. So I'm going to give you a common source of a headache pain, and then also just talk more in general how you can figure out the source. Believe it or not, a common source of headache pain is unexpressed anger. So let's say you're married or you're in a relationship and your partner does something that made you angry, but you didn't say anything about it. Now, to express anger doesn't mean you have to yell and scream, but you want to say something about right, what they did. And if you kind of held it in and what they did made you angry, you're now in a situation of unexpressed anger. And lots of times that can lead to headache pain. And it's such a common situation that that's often the very first question to ask yourself. Is there somebody I'm angry at where I haven't expressed the anger, right? So it could be, like I said, relationship partner, it could be a family member, a parent, it could be your child, it could be, who knows, but just kind of check in. Is there somebody, did somebody do something that pissed me off and I just kind of bit my tongue and didn't say anything? So if that's the case, there's two ways to address that. One is you can actually go to the person and say, hey, when you did such and such, that makes me angry. It's not okay that you did that. And lots of times the headache pain will just go away without tapping, right? Or you can tap on your anger at the thing the person did. So you get relief from the anger, and that should very likely also get rid of the headache pain. Now, if that's not what it is, then other things can cause headache pain. So like stress can cause a headache. Stress, emotional stress can show up in many different forms. So the next question to ask yourself is, what has been going on recently that's causing me a lot of stress? All right. So it could be that you came home from work and you, in the early evening, have a headache. And it's like, oh, I have a headache. Here I am at home. I'm not working anymore. It'd be nice to not be in pain here, right? So think about your day. Has anything been stressing you out from the day? So if you tap on your source or sources of stress, lots of times that will, again, just relieve the headache pain. Now, if you notice that by tapping on the source, so like the thing being angry at somebody or something that's stressing you out or something like that, you might notice the headache pain comes down partially and not fully. And the thing to do in that situation is to simply go back to the first method and get in touch with you probably already tried that because you started with that and didn't work. Just go back to it. And what you'll find is once you've removed the source, either the headache pain will have completely gone away anyway, or it's come down, and then going back to tapping essentially on the symptom of the headache pain will take care of the rest of it. All right, so that's my answer for how to address headache pain in the simple case where you get one every once in a while. Now, what do you do in the case where it's a chronic situation, where you're getting headaches regularly? Okay, so it's similar to the second case for the simple situation. If you're getting regular headaches chronically, that means that there's some kind of ongoing issue in your life that keeps bringing headaches to you over and over again. Now, this issue may be a situation in your current life, in your adult life. It can also be a situation from childhood. Because what happens is that, as we get older, and when I say older, I don't mean old, I just mean not in your 20s, right? 30s, 40s, 50s, anything. Stuff in our childhood starts to kind of percolate up. Like in our 20s, we're so full of energy, we have a ton of energy to kind of suppress things, right? So we push it down. Not always. Sometimes in our 20s we can get chronic headaches. But as we start getting older, it gets harder to do that. And a lot of our childhood woundings and things start coming up. And unhealed issues can result in chronic issues with headache pain. All right? So what do you do in that situation? Like I said, it's like the deeper method with the first case, but it's a little more challenging because it's like, well, what is this chronic issue that is leading to having all these headaches? And like I said, that chronic issue may be just some part of your life. Maybe you have an ongoing work situation that is causing you pain, right? It's causing you stress. Not just the current day was stressful, but it's kind of like my whole situation of this job is stressful. Or there could be something going on in your relationship in a chronic way that's stressful. Or it could be some issue or wound from childhood. Like I said, it's just starting to rise up and you may not even be all that consciously aware of it, but it's leading to these chronic headaches. So in my work with clients, I work with people a lot who have various sources of physical pain. It might be headache pain, it might be pain in their foot, their knee, their ankle, their hip, their whatever. And what we do is we look for the underlying source. And there's different ways of figuring it out. It's a little harder to do on your own, but there are different ways to figure out what the source or sources might be, and then you address them, and then the pain clears up. Okay? So just to give you one example of that, I had a client who was having a lot of pain in her knee, and she had not injured her knee, right? It just spontaneously showed up and started getting worse and worse. And we looked into it, and it turned out the pain in her knee was associated with the fear of moving forward towards a goal, a particular goal. And so the knee, as part of our leg is responsible for moving ourselves forward, and walking, running, things like that. And it turns out that was the source of this knee pain. So we looked at what was scary about moving towards this goal. We did a whole bunch of tapping on all of her different fears. She had a whole bunch of them, actually. So we tapped on all these fears, and each time we successfully cleared a fear, the pain level in her knee would drop some. So I was like, there you go. Confirmation that fear was at least responsible for part of the knee pain, right? So we just kept working our way through the list, and by the end, her knee pain was completely gone. So this is particularly interesting in cases where, you didn't have any injury that would explain the pain in some part of your body. But the same is true for chronic headaches. So you want to identify the source of them. And there's lots of creative ways of doing that. You address those, and then the chronic headaches go away, which is amazing relief, especially for anybody who's been dealing with chronic headaches for years. You can imagine how incredible that relief would be. All right, so I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, it'd be wonderful if you would click on the like button. And of course, you're welcome to subscribe to my channel to get other useful videos about EFT, as well as clearing blocks to find our soulmate. I have sort of two different topics on my channel. All right, everybody, keep tapping, and I'll see you on the next one.